Welcome back to the final segment of Investing with Confidence. As always, I am your host, Joshua David, and having a good time with my good friend, my great pal. He is the mastermind of this whole operation, Mr. Al Connickson. If you did miss tickets to that investing class, we had a lot of people calling in. Congratulations for that. To get started in the financial markets, call 888-682-6466 or just text the word INVEST to the number 484848. So, Al, as promised, I want to talk about a couple different stocks, different commodities as well. And the first one I want to talk about is oil. We've been talking about a supply zone that's been pretty much been acting like a magnet for the past. We've been talking about the supply zone for a long time, and we have got there. It respected it for a couple days, and it has soared right through it, which actually oil had hit over $100 a barrel.
Yep.
Now that's going to be reflecting at the pumps. I think that's kind of a thing I've been saying the past 6 months. That's reflecting at the pumps. We're seeing oil go up, gas prices go up. So we have to be able to learn the skills and techniques to combat this inflation that's happening, high commodity prices. We're going to get into gold and silver. What do you see moving forward with oil, especially with Russia, Ukraine, this whole issue that's going on over there?
Well, what we're seeing is when you talk about oil and gold and silver, that's basically a flight to safety. People are concerned about the main stock market, especially growth stocks, when we have a high inflationary period like we're going into and potentially more higher interest rates. The growth stocks, especially the technology stocks, they don't do as well. They take a hit. But a lot of people are, and maybe it's because they're panicking, but going to gold, oil, silver, maybe some of the other commodities that are out there. That's one of the places that you can go where you can still benefit positively in markets like this.
It's because they're inversely correlated a little
They're
bit.
inversely correlated, and that's part of having a proper diversification. It's not having a group of stocks, a group of mutual funds that are all correlated to each other where everything gets sucked down when the market goes down. Well, there are other assets that you can trade, and those commodities that's one of the things that you can do, and they have done pretty well. With the oil and with gas, think about it. Ukraine, Russia. Russia now is a huge exporter of oil. And in this country, we basically have reduced our oil output. We used to be an importer of oil. Now we're used to be an exporter of oil. Now we're an importer of oil. So now we have actually kind of turned over some of our oil hope, our fuel hopes to other countries. So is there the potential for it to continue to go up? Yes. But what we're going to look for, we're not going to look at something based on what we think might happen because it makes sense to us. We're looking at what the market is telling us, what the institutions are telling us they're going to do. And that's where it's so important to be able to identify an accurate demand zone where there are buy orders, an accurate supply zone where there are sell orders. Those are orders that are unfilled institutional orders that have the potential to move the price of something, change the direction of the price, it cause the price to continue moving. Those are the things that are important. But again, we want to keep it simple and just concentrate on what factually impacts price.
Yeah, and the great thing with some of these commodities, these commodities are in the futures market, which are actually 24-hour markets, so they're open around the clock. So a lot of investors are looking at these markets for income strategies. Think about oil, great moves, gold especially. Gold actually went up 3% as a top on Thursday. So we're just seeing great movements, great opportunities to have income strategies, but you got to learn how to do that. You have to learn the skills and techniques, but you have to get started. Right. You actually help a lot of people get started in these investing classes. Most people that come to these investing classes here in Bloomington at Online Trading Academy are new to the markets. They've never traded before. If they have, it's more in a 401k or an IRA, so they're in the market, but they just want to learn how do you get started and do different things. In these investing classes, they're free. They're about 2 hours. So callers 1 through 10 right now for 2 tickets for this investing class, because you can bring a friend. Call 888-682-6466. That's 888-682-6466, or just text the word INVEST to the number 484848. When you do that, you receive a quick start kit, which includes some free stock picks. who knows? Oil just might be one of those.
Could be.
So, Al, we've been talking about this supply zone in gold here for a while, which is really acting like a magnet for price. As I mentioned earlier, soared over 3% at one point, almost 3.5% at one point on Thursday. So great volatility. Now, it's not just buy gold right now. I mean, we're getting close to all-time highs, which were around $2,075 or so per ounce. So with gold, you mentioned it could potentially be a flight to safety, which it really hasn't been that for a long time.
Been a little bit of a lagger there, but
it is. Yeah. What do you see? Do you think that's going to potentially go back to a flight of safety because of this Ukraine stuff, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, it kind of depends on how long this goes, and to what degree it continues. It's hard to say, but there are things out there that have a huge impact on the price of something. But oftentimes what we see is that the news events that happen have a short-term impact on the market. And the market always kind of gets back to something that's more normal for it, looking at earnings, for example. If the invasion in Ukraine continues and maybe even expands beyond that, sure, then I think that people are going to be looking at gold and oil and some of those commodities that are, again, that flight to safety. But at some point in time, people will, and by people I mean institutions, will rotate out of those and look for something else that has a better value.
Yeah, which potentially, I mean, we talked about a lot of stocks the past last month or so, right, that have been getting crushed. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% from their all-time highs. Now, if you look at, we'll say PayPal, we talked about that. I believe this was 2 weeks ago. And now PayPal is dropping right into a demand zone we talked about a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It's actually down 68% from its highs. Now, this demand zone here, I'm excited to see. I want to see where this is going to go. Right. And we're talking about the potential buy orders. I'm not saying to go buy this right now. Who knows where it's going to go? But if you have low risk, high probability, and high opportunity investments in the markets, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You just let your investments work for you. You're going to get in. And by the way, when you place investments in the market, we have a proprietary strategy, right? We also have a proprietary platform that actually is designed to have you enter your orders, let the computer execute automatically. So people that work during the day can still get in the markets, especially with PayPal. With this being down big, do you see PayPal? I mean, do you see PayPal maybe even going to zero? It's at $100 now.
No, it's not going to go to zero. There's a lot of companies out there that have been spanked really hard, and they're great companies. But when you go through a market in a downtrend, for whatever reason that might happen, a lot of good companies get taken down. And you should look at this as a good thing. This is a great opportunity. If you haven't been in the market, if you're thinking about getting in the market, maybe you got some cash just sitting there on the sidelines waiting to go in, there's some fantastic opportunities. Companies like Apple, for example, Intel, they're not going to go to zero. PayPal, even the one that we've been talking about recently, Roblox, that has taken a big hit, but still there's some very positive things about that company. When it IPO'd, it had a huge move up the day that it IPO'd. That was maybe a little unusual, and maybe should have been a little bit of a warning.
Yeah.
But companies, markets, prices always get back down to normal valuations, to reasonable valuations, and that's kind of where we're headed, I think, with a lot of companies. So here's the good news: there's some great opportunities down the road. You haven't missed things if you've been sitting on the sidelines, or you just seen your portfolio kind of diminish in size. There's some great opportunities coming up, but you need to be positioned properly to be able to do that. When you look at things, if you're looking for income, futures, Forex options are great. They're also great for your long-term portfolios when you retire. And the great thing there, not only futures and Forex trade 24 hours a day, but all three, options, futures, Forex, have leverage. So you can have a smaller account but still participate in a much larger investment.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Roblox again. I mean, it IPO'd at about $60 per share. went up to over 140 or so.
Yeah, right. Yep.
And depending on when you listen to the show here, at about $47 a share. So great opportunities as it went up, but it went down just as fast it went up. And as Al was talking about, the down the road, we're going to continue to see great opportunities. Are we buying at a discount? Are we selling when they're high? Well, you have to learn the skills on how to do that. So now is the best time, not tomorrow. Now is the best time to get positioned for these different investments. Get positioned to protect what you have, but also get positioned now, especially in your 401ks and IRAs, to protect them and have the opportunity or the potential to maybe buy at a discount. Alice, getting close to the end of the show, and this has been a fun show. We had some great volatility, and I love talking about the stock markets with you. We have a good time. Too bad we can't see the outtakes or the behind the scenes, but for those that watch the YouTube show, we might be able to see a little bit of that. But one last set of tickets for an investing class right here in Bloomington. They're free. They're about 2 hours. Call 888-682-6466. That's 888-682-6466. Al, hit them up with the OTA tip of the week.
Well, I know Christmas has passed, but I'm going to talk about the best gift that you can give your family. It's teaching your kids about finance, teaching them what the opportunities are and how to take advantage of them for their future. But you know what? It starts with you getting the knowledge first. You can't teach what you don't know. Right now, you can make a choice to get the education. You can combine the knowledge with the skills necessary to help build the tomorrow you want for your family. Remember, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you're determined to learn, no one can stop you.
That's a good comment there. One of the good things the Canadians say, if you don't know, or you don't know what you don't know, you know. One last set of tickets for the investing class here in Bloomington. Text the word INVEST to the number 484848. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my friends.